What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a brand new week here on Anfield Agenda, and as always, the transfer stories are coming thick and fast. Over the course of today's video, I'm going to give you the latest on Liverpool's pursuit of Hugo Ekitike. We're going to be asking, are the Reds really in for Xavi Simons, as has been reported by numerous journalists? On top of that, we're going to be giving you some words from Virgil van Dijk about why he's expecting a big summer in the transfer window. That and a few other interesting bits and pieces, including some news on Jonathan David, some news on other forwards that Liverpool have been linked with, and also some news on a player who won't be joining. That and lots more to come over the next few minutes, but you know the score. I do want to know your thoughts, so let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you do happen to enjoy it, but most importantly, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Now, I will be here tonight, 8:45 for the late night agenda. Remember, chat is now back, opened up to everybody, so I hope you can come along and share your thoughts with us. Until then, let's get stuck into the news. Going to start off today, folks, with a story from Anfield Watch around Hugo Ekitike. This piece here said Liverpool's interest in Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike has become more concrete because of Newcastle's reluctance to sell Alexander Isak. Now, this tallies with my own little bits of information that say I think he is the number one target for Liverpool in that striking department. Another name to keep an eye on is João Pedro of Brighton. The problem there could be the prohibitive price tag that Brighton would put on him. They're talking about 100 million quid. So for me, if I was a bet man, and I kind of am, I'd look at Hugo Ekitike as the one most likely to come through the door this summer. Now, let's speak about Jonathan David, another striker whose name has been linked with a whole host of Premier League clubs, including the Reds. We know he's currently in the last couple of months of his contract with Lille, and this piece here in The Athletic link him to a club in the Premier League, but it isn't Liverpool. They say West Ham have held positive talks with the representatives of Jonathan David over a free transfer from Lille. Now that kind of does make sense. They've obviously brought in Evan Ferguson on loan there for the end of the season. We know Michail Antonio suffered that car crash, and it's great to see him recovering as quickly as he is. But not surprising that somebody like Jonathan David would be of interest to them. Would he be willing, though, to go from a club like Lille, who are playing Champions League football, to a club that, well, isn't even going to be in European action next season? I can't answer that question, but do keep an eye on this one, because we could well be seeing Jonathan David in the Premier League. Now, Luis Diaz. I'm a little bit confused about the future of Luis Diaz for a couple of reasons. One, I don't see why we'd be in any rush to sell him. He is really stepping up at the end of the season, and I love the options of having him and Cody Gakpo on the left-hand side of our attack. But Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr are eyeing a move for Liverpool's Luis Diaz as an alternative to Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. Now, we heard during the week that there was a billion, yep, you're hearing me right, billion euro offer on the table from Saudi Arabia to Vinicius Jr. But will they come in for Luis Diaz? The question that I would like to ask you guys in the chat is, if we were to sell him, and again, I wouldn't be a seller personally, I'd rather move on Darwin and Diogo, but if we were to sell him, what do you think he'd be worth? 28 years of age, 2 years to go in his contract, and of course, if Saudi come a knocking, you would imagine Liverpool will be asking a rather hefty fee. So let me know your thoughts on that one in the comment section. What do you think the price tag should and would be for Luis Diaz this summer? Want to move on to those words from Virgil van Dijk that I promised you at the start of the video. Lewis Steele reporting on this one said, Virgil van Dijk, and then quotation marks, I think they're planning to make it a big summer, so we all have to trust the board as a Liverpool connected fan to do the job, and hopefully the club will be challenging for titles for the next 2 seasons as well. Now, interesting that he threw in for the next 2 seasons as well, because of course that would mean the 2 seasons that Virgil's going to be signing on for. He said, I think we can 100% improve. I think we should forget the quality that the Premier League possesses, especially this season. He said that we shouldn't forget the Premier League quality that it possesses, especially this season. In my opinion, it's incredible how anyone can beat anyone. And I have to agree with Virgil on that one. It's one of my favourite aspects of the Premier League is quite how competitive it is. And on any given day, any team can indeed beat anybody. Caoimhin Kelleher, let's move on for a little bit about his future. We've been talking in the past about Newcastle, we've been speaking about Leeds United, we've been speaking about Chelsea. Well, I think there's one more name that we can now add to that list. This piece here from West Ham Fan Zone say that West Ham have made Liverpool goalkeeper Caoimhin Kelleher a top target this summer. They go on to say that they believe Kelleher would be allowed to leave Anfield for a fee of around £20 million. I think they may be slightly on the lower side of that, but I would say 1 year left on his contract, 20 million upwards, you're in the realms of realism there, in all honesty. If you were talking 10, 15, way too low. We've seen Chelsea in the past mentioned with as much as a £40 million move, but I'm sure for Liverpool they'd like something 25, 30 million, something in and around that. So Kelleher to West Ham, let us know, Reds, can you see that one happening? Moving on now to Huijsen, and Fabrizio Romano's been speaking a bit about him, and look, is it just me that thinks Fabrizio Romano does a lot of fluffing for Real Madrid, a lot of pro-positive Real Madrid stuff, because once again here he's mentioning Dean Huijsen would be keen to join Real Madrid, but they've not decided yet whether they'll go for a centre-back, so the player won't wait for them forever. Premier League clubs are pushing, Huijsen will explore all of his options in the coming weeks, and on top of that we had David Ornstein last night saying that Liverpool are certainly interested and have open conversations with his camp. I'm getting a bit fed up of Romano and his pro-Real Madrid nonsense. If they're not even in for the player, then look, that's like saying Craig would be really interested in marrying Mila Kunis, but, you know, he's not going to wait around forever, right? Okay, probably a crap analogy in fairness, but you get where I'm going. If Madrid aren't in for him, they shouldn't be in the conversation really, should they? Next up, let's talk about Bynoe-Gittens, Jamie Bynoe-Gittens of Borussia Dortmund. Now, I said to you guys many times over the last few days that I don't think he's a player that will be on Liverpool's radar for the reason that I think he'll be overpriced in Michael Edwards' eyes, and I don't think he's shown enough consistency. Well, now, Sky Sports in Germany are saying similarly. Borussia Dortmund's price tag for Jamie Gittens is seen as too high from a Liverpool perspective. Any sort of potential deal is expected to be off. And that's what I've been saying to you guys for the last week or two as well. Never struck me as a deal that I've seen Liverpool doing, and I've never gotten much encouragement that it was likely to happen. Liverpool have been scouting several number 9s according to Chris Bascom, and wide attackers and their data department will be crunching the numbers to see who, if anybody, was better than what we currently have at the club. And sticking with Chris Bascom, he said, Arne Slot evidently sees Endo as a different profile of anchorman, so he'll be seeing more ball players to give him the option of rotating more often, seeking more ball players, to give him the option of rotating more often. How many can he add will depend on the future of Elliott and Endo and whether they are happy as substitutes. And I think there you're starting to see again Liverpool leaning into the fact that those two players could be available this summer if moves come up that suit all parties. And to finish up, a little bit on Xavi Simons as promised. Unnamed journalist for Anfield Index said this: Xavi Simons is definitely a player Liverpool like, 100% on the radar. Whether that becomes something this summer depends on a lot of competition around him, the spots where you can fit him in and open up in the squad. But if it does, and there's a real possibility for that to happen, then I'm pretty sure he'll be high up on the list. They definitely like him, said unknown journalist or unnamed journalist for Anfield Index. Now, the reason I'm saying unnamed journalist is because, well, I don't want him ringing the police on me for mentioning his name, you know. Very touchy. But either way, there you go. I don't believe it. Personally, I don't think Xavi Simons is going to be high up on Liverpool's list, so I would disagree with this one. But let's wait and see. We do know Leipzig are going to make him available this summer. I'm sure Liverpool can have a word with Jurgen and get the lowdown on him as well. But for me, I just don't see it being a deal that makes sense with value. But do let us know your thoughts on Simons. When we've spoken about it on the Late Night Agenda, normally people are kind of a bit meh about the whole idea of it. So that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. But as you can see, it's been a really busy day. So we will be back tonight, 8:45 with the Late Night Agenda. We'll talk through what we have to do to win this league title. We'll talk through all of these stories. And of course, we'll be letting you know some more details on our end of season shows at the Hot Water Comedy Club as well. Until then, have a wonderful Monday. I know it's depressing, it's Monday, it's the start of a new week. But by the end of it, we're definitely going to be one step closer to the Premier League title. And if things go our way, we could even be celebrating it on Sunday. So keep that in mind. We'll talk soon. Much love. Bye-bye.